Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So today, we're unpacking something super fascinating, a highly structured, incredibly logical system that a lot of people just kind of write off as divine intervention. We're going to explore what you could call the universe's ultimate cosmic autocorrect mechanism. Specifically, we'll be looking at the precise mechanics detailed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 7. Let's dive right in and look at exactly how and why this whole system gets triggered.
Now here is the absolute anchor for our exploration today. The text says, "Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself." According to the commentary, this isn't just a nice piece of poetry. It's actually a systematic, completely non-negotiable trigger.
Okay, let's dive into section 1, the cosmic trigger.
There's a very precise cause and effect sequence mapped out in the source material. It starts with Step 1, a discrepancy in the proper execution of Vedic rules. Basically, the established principles start getting twisted, and this inevitably leads to Step 2, which is a predominant rise of corruption and irreligion. Once the system hits that tipping point, it triggers Step 3, the Lord appears by his own free will to completely course-correct the situation.
That brings us right to section 2, manifestation over creation.
Now, you might be wondering about the specifics of this descent. The Sanskrit word used here is absolutely crucial. It's sṛjāmy. The commentary makes a really clear distinction here. The Lord is not created into some newly formed material body. Sṛjāmy means he manifests himself exactly as he eternally is. It's more like he's simply stepping through the veil rather than being generated by it. And here is a totally fascinating contrast. On one side, we've got this highly detailed cosmic schedule. The text notes that the Lord actually has scheduled appearances. To give you an idea of the scale, one is scheduled at the end of the Dwapara Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu in one day of Brahma. I mean, that is incredibly precise. But on the other side of the coin, we have divine free will. The Lord has absolutely zero obligation to stick strictly to that schedule. If irreligiosity becomes predominant early, he uses his complete free will to appear whenever it's necessary, just totally overriding the schedule.
Which leads us to section 3, defining true dharma.
So what's really interesting about this is what exactly is being protected here. Truth dharma isn't some manufactured human belief system. These are the literal, strict laws of the universe. The text states that these principles were originally spoken by the Lord directly into the heart of Brahma. No human being can invent them. And the ultimate, highest principle of all these rules? Complete surrender unto the Lord.
Let's move on to section 4, missions of the avatars.
When the divine does manifest, it is always for a highly targeted mission. To see how this works in practice, the source material offers us a great historical case study. It asks, why did Lord Buddha appear?
Well, at that specific time, the primary issue was a demonic misuse of scripture. Materialism was just rampant, and people were actually using Vedic authority as a pretext to justify completely unregulated animal sacrifice. The system was utterly corrupted. So, what was the solution? Lord Buddha appeared as an incarnation of Krishna with one highly specific corrective mission: stop the nonsense and reestablish the absolute foundational Vedic principle of non-violence.
Because of these strict mechanics, you can't just wake up one day and claim to be an avatar. The text outlines some really rigorous criteria. First, they have to be explicitly referenced in revealed scriptures. Second, they must have a particular definable mission. And third, this is a big one, this is a universal mechanism. It's not limited to Indian soil. The Lord can manifest absolutely anywhere he desires.
Let's wrap things up with section 5, tailoring the divine message.
Now, you might be thinking, if the truth is eternal, how on earth is it taught across so many completely different cultures and eras? Well, the divine message is delivered in a few different forms. Sometimes the Lord descends personally. Other times, he sends a bona fide representative, like a son or a servant, or he might even appear in a disguised form. But the golden rule across all of these is that the messenger only speaks about religion as that specific audience can actually digest, based on their unique circumstances.
And this brilliantly illustrates the point using a really simple math analogy from the text. Think about it. 2 plus 2 equals 4. That is a universal truth, right? It's true whether you're sitting in a beginner's arithmetic class or an advanced mathematics seminar. The core truth doesn't change, but the complexity of the teaching totally does. Basic principles are tailored for beginners in all kinds of varied circumstances, while the higher principles, the advanced mathematics, are taught to highly elevated persons, just like how the principles of the Bhagavad Gita were spoken directly to Arjuna.
So what do these advanced mathematics of religion actually look like? Well, the commentary points out that the higher principles begin with accepting the structural organization of society, specifically the four orders and the four statuses of social life. That structure is considered the absolute prerequisite for any real elevated spiritual advancement.
So, the crucial point we need to take away from all this is simply this. Despite the completely different messengers, the vastly different historical circumstances, and whether the audience is getting the higher or lower mathematics of the teachings, the core objective never ever changes. The ultimate mission behind every single incarnation, every perfectly tailored message, and every cosmic autocorrect is singular: to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Whether it's manifest or non-manifest, that is always the ultimate goal.
We've covered a lot today about how the divine actively preserves the universe's ultimate laws. Knowing now that the exact same eternal truth is taught differently based on time, place, and an audience's capacity, how will you recognize these universal principles of Dharma adapting and manifesting in the circumstances around you today? It's definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.